Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to play Regicide Crown Jewels. I'll be using a standard deck of cards today, but if you're interested in a deck with gorgeous custom art, then you should check out our Kickstarter page. In Regicide Crown Jewels, two players assume the roles of royalty, locked in bitter conflict. All diplomacy has been exhausted. The only thing left is combat. Equip your weapons, don your armor, and prepare your spells as you go head to head with your fierce rival. To set up, each player chooses a suit and takes all the royalty of the chosen suit. Each player then forms their royalty into a face-up stack, with the king on the bottom, the queen in the middle, and the jack on top. Each player takes 3 of the remaining royalty cards and places them face down, oriented vertically. This is their hit point stack. Take a jester and put one in front of a random player. The other jester will not be used. Shuffle the remaining 40 cards and form a face-down draw deck. Leave room beside it for a face-up discard pile. Each player draws 3 cards to their hand. Your jack, queen and king are the royalty which you will assume control of throughout the game. Royals have a vitality rating which determines their hit points, the number of cards they draw each round, and their threshold for going corrupt. Should my jack be defeated, it will be added to the hit point stack, and my queen would have 4 vitality. Should my queen die, then the king will have 5 vitality. If your king is defeated, you lose the game. During the game, players will be taking turns to place cards face down into the 4 zones surrounding their royal. The attack zone is for your weapons, your defense zone is for your armor, the spell zone is where you cast powerful spells, and the corruption zone slowly builds until the royal goes corrupt and draws all the cards there to hand, setting up a powerful turn. Each round has 5 phases. Let's go through them one at a time with some simple examples. First we have the plot phase, with players taking turns playing cards. The player with the most cards in hand always places first, and continues to keep placing until they have the same number of cards as the other player. If at the start of the phase players have the same number of cards in hand, then the jester is passed and the recipient of the jester now plays first. For the first turn of the game though, you don't need to pass the jester. Since the jacks have 3 vitality, the players will have 3 cards in hand. Cards are placed until there is only 1 card remaining in hand, at which point both players discard them. You can place any of the 4 suits in any of the 4 zones, but we're going to start simple here. Going first, I'll place the 6 of clubs. Clubs build up your weapon stack, so they generally go in the attack zone. My opponent goes next and places a card to their defense zone. Back to me, and I think I'll place the 7 of hearts. Hearts provide temporary strength in the attack zone and temporary block in the defense zone. After my opponent places their second card, choosing the attack zone, we are down to 1 last card, which we discard. That's the end of the plot phase, so now we move to the reveal phase, which just means we turn all the cards face up, except for those in corruption zones. The third phase is fight. We now calculate the strength and block of each player and see if anyone has been hit. Here I have 6 strength and my opponent has 3 blocks, so we do hit them. They turn one of their hit points sideways to show this. My opponent has 4 strength and I have 7 blocks, so we don't take a hit here. The next step is to cast spells, but neither player placed any cards in their spell zone this round, so we can skip that this time. The final phase is cleanup. First we discard all cards from the spell zones, none this round, and all red cards in our attack and defense zones. This means that hearts only work for the round you play them, but your clubs and spades will persist from round to round. We check to see if any royals have been defeated, none in this case, and then each player draws cards equal to their vitality. Finally, if we have enough cards in our corruption zone, we'll go corrupt. Okay, on to the next round. The player with the most cards in hand goes first. However, since we have the same number of cards, the jester is passed to our opponent and they go first. They play their card face down into the attack zone. Let's put this 9 of spades in our defense zone to get some armor going. Our opponent plays again, this time to defense. And I'll finish off by placing the 5 of hearts in the attack zone. Our last cards are discarded. Revealing the cards, we see that my opponent has 2 spades in the defense zone. They stack together. This is done for multiple spades in the defense zone and for multiple clubs in the attack zone. It's important to note that if you play a club that's lower than any clubs in your existing stack, those higher clubs are first destroyed. Same goes for spades, so most of the time you'll want to add clubs and spades that are higher than what you already have in play. It's also worth noting that if you play spades into the attack zone, they get discarded straight away, as do clubs in the defense zone. Let's total up the strength of the fight phase. Weapon and armor stacks provide strength and block equal to their highest card, plus 1 for each card stacked underneath it. So here my opponent has 9 block, 8 plus 1. I have 11 strength, so I get in for another hit. Note that multiple hearts don't get stacked like the clubs and spades. Each heart is counted individually for a bigger impact, but they will only work for one phase. Over on the defensive side, I have 9 block. My opponent has 4 plus 4 from the heart, but because the heart matches a club in her weapon stack, she gets a matching bonus. A matching bonus means you get to count it again for a total of 12. There are a lot of matching bonuses in Regicide Crown Jewels. That's why it can be handy to build up a stack of spades or clubs. Since I block for 9 and my opponent has 12 strength, I take a hit. Once again, no spells to cast, and so we move to the cleanup phase where anything that isn't a weapon or armor is discarded. We each draw 3 cards and start a new round. We have the same number of cards in hand, so the jester is passed, and I play first. This too can go into corruption for later. My opponent plays face down into their attack zone. I think I might be getting hit this turn, so I'll play a 9 of diamonds to the defense zone here. Its special power might let me draw some cards. My opponent plays another card there, and we both discard our final remaining card. Revealing the cards, and my opponent forms their weapon stack. Diamonds in the attack zone and defense zone have an effect that cares about whether damage was done or not. A diamond in the attack zone means that if you hit, you deal an extra damage. I block for 9, and my opponent hits for 11, 10 plus 1. So she does hit me and deals an additional damage. 2 hit points lost, and that's going to be the end of my jack. A diamond in the defense zone means that if you are hit, you draw a card. I also get a matching bonus here since my diamond matches my spade, and as usual the matching bonus means we do it again, so I'll draw 2 cards to my hand. Again, no spells to cast, so we move on to cleanup and move the diamonds to the discard pile. We also see that my jack has taken lethal damage. I lose all my weapons and armor, placing them in the discard pile. Next, I add my jack face down to my hit points, revealing my queen, and I refresh my 4 hit points, representing that my queen has 4 vitality. We draw cards equal to our vitality, so 3 for my opponent and 4 for me. You'll notice that I already had 2 cards in hand from that diamond power, so it's important to note that your end of turn draw does not care about other cards you're already holding. You just always draw cards equal to your vitality. The next round starts, and the player with the most cards in hand always goes first, so that's going to be me. Also, we keep placing cards until we have the same number of cards in hand as our opponent. Let's start off by placing this heart into the spell zone. There are 4 different spells to cast, 1 for each suit, but you can only cast each spell once. If you do put the same suit in more than once, neither of them will work. We still have 5 cards in hand, so we need to keep placing cards until we have the same number of cards in hand as our opponent. A couple of clubs will establish a new weapon stack. My opponent places a spell. I think I'll get this 9 of hearts in there. It might be overkill, but I want to seal the deal. My opponent places their second card in corruption, and I'll place this 4 of spades in my defense zone. We discard our last cards. After revealing cards and making sure that our stacks are looking good, we move on to resolving damage in the fight step. My strength is 10 plus 18. The 9 of hearts is counted twice thanks to that matching bonus, so I have hit my opponent here. Our 4 block fails to protect us against the 11 strength, so we take a hit. Let's talk about spells. Club and spade spells get resolved now during the fight step. Neither player has cast one, but it's easy enough to explain what would happen if they did. A club lets you all out attack. That means you take your block value and add it to your attack instead. Your block becomes 0. A spade spell is all out defense. You add your strength to your block and attack for 0. There are no matching bonuses for these 2 spells. We now move to the cast spell step where we resolve any red spells. A heart allows you to cast Siphon. You put the top card of the deck into your corruption zone. Red spells also have matching bonuses, but they match off your opponent's equipment stacks. Here my 3 of hearts does its Siphon power once, and then 1 more time for each 3 in my opponent's attack and defense zones. Here we see they have a 3 of spades, so I get to place 2 cards into corruption instead of just the 1. If they had a 3 of clubs in their weapon stack, I would have been able to do it again. My opponent has used the diamond to cast Shatter. This means that I destroy my lowest value card across all my equipment, which in this case is a 3. Shatter can also gain a matching bonus where it first destroys all weapon and armor of the matching number before destroying the lowest. In the case that your lowest value equipment is shared across both stacks, destroy the armor. During cleanup, my opponent discards all their cards in play and moves their jack to the hit point stack. We then both draw 4 cards. I have 3 cards in corruption, but I need at least 4 to go corrupt due to my queen having 4 vitality. Let's play one more round. Both players have 4 cards in hand, so the jester is passed and our opponent plays first. They start by preparing a spell. I think we'll commit this 5 of spades to corruption. My opponent plays a defensive card. 8 of clubs can go to my attack zone. It will break my 9 of clubs, but the matching 8 of hearts will be worth it. A card from my opponent to their attack zone, then I'll play the 8 of hearts into my attack zone. Last cards are discarded. On to revealing cards, and all of my revealed clubs will break all clubs in my weapon stack of a higher value, so here I discard the 9. We can see here that my opponent has cast a club spell which is an all-out attack. They add their block to their strength and their block becomes 0. This means this round their strength is 10. They also have a diamond in there which generates an extra hit, so I take 2 hits. I've generated a big attack here which turned out to be overkill. I have 24 strength to my opponent's block of 0 thanks to her all-out attack, so she suffers 1 hit. No other spells to resolve, and so we move on to cleanup. Discard everything that isn't a weapon or armor, and then we draw 4 cards each. We'll need to shuffle the discard pile first. Players are not allowed to look through the discard pile at any time. Also, I have cards in my corruption zone at least equal to my vitality, so it's time to go corrupt. I'll draw these, adding them to my hand. There are 2 things to remember when you go corrupt. First, you are not allowed to play cards back into your corruption zone from hand on the next round. Secondly, at the end of the plot phase, you must discard 2 cards instead of 1. We move on to the next phase, and since I have the most cards in hand, I'll play first. It's going to be a big turn. Let's hope we can turn the tide. We'll stop there for now. Remember, the player who eliminates the opposing king wins the game. If both kings are defeated in the same phase, the game is a draw. There are some advanced rules for when you've played a few games, but I'll let you explore those yourself. The rules are available on BoardGameGeek.com. Good luck with your duel.